Hello, listeners. Welcome again to the Profit Incentive. Today, I am absolutely thrilled to welcome my guest. He is an extremely talented artist, and this man has a natural 20 charisma check every time he does one. This is one of the most naturally charismatic and just cool motherfuckers I've ever met in my life. So today, I'd like to welcome Rachard Dennis to the cast. How you doing, Shar?
I'm doing well, bro. I'm really thankful to be here. Thankful for the opportunity, man.
Beyond thankful to have you. How you feeling today, bro?
Feeling good, bro. I'm tired of shit. I've been on the road all night type shit, so I'm a little...
Yeah, I saw you had to go all the way to Dallas and shoot all the way back.
Hit a little turnaround, but I'm feeling well, man. I'm glad to be here. Really glad to talk to you. You know, you're one of my favorite people to rap with. So.
Well, you're one of my favorite people to talk to. An extremely intelligent and woke individual. And you know what? We're finna dive right into it. And we know what you're here for, and we know what I got you here for. We're gonna talk about art. Okay. You're one of the most natural artist I've ever met in my life, and like Michael Miller said in the previous podcast, one of the few people that I would actually call a true blue artist that transcends the medium, who takes the shit seriously, who isn't trying to do what's been done before. So I'd like to ask you first off, what does that word mean to you? What does the word art mean to you?
Thank you. First of all, those high ass praises.
It's
to me,
true.
Though, I would say now I'll just this shit is weird, but in a sense, I guess, like embracing imperfection in the craziest way. You know what I'm saying?
Do you mean like in the world as a whole, inside of yourself, a little bit of both?
I think the world in general, even outside, inside, regardless, you know, just perception of things, just really finding a place for the imperfections, because ain't shit perfect in life anyways. But I guess I just say that because of the place I've arrived to lately as a artist or whatnot, is just really being able to embrace the human nature and shit.
When you say this place you've arrived to, what exactly does that mean?
Understanding, just my understanding of it all, man. I think when I came into the shit, well, I won't say when I came into the shit, that's very vague, but like when I started doing art with the intention that, I kind of feel like how y'all know me now, like with the rapping and shit. Rapping was like not my first necessarily form of art that I started with.
I could sense that on you. I could sense that on you.
I had to learn how to like rap and shit like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like,
who got you started doing that?
Bro, it was something. It was something I started doing on my own.
Okay, and how did that come into being?
Well, I wanted to play basketball.
Yeah.
Once I realized I wasn't going to the league, I was like, shit, I might need to find some other shit to do.
I think we can all relate to that.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, well, I need to find something else to do. And I was like, I had never felt that I didn't have a sense of purpose. If that can make sense. So it's like, I always had a dream.
You've never once in your entire life felt lost or like you didn't have an aim?
When I quit basketball.
For that little time?
That window of time before I started rapping.
And since you found art, it's been just a straight line, basically.
I already was doing art.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't taking it serious.
Got you.
Art was always cathartic for me.
Okay.
Literally. Like,
okay.
I feel something, this is how I'm going to do it. And it would be with words. It was in visual. Everything. It was poetry, to be honest. So
who were some of the artists that at the very outset got you thinking, this is the way I want to do this? Like, who were some of your key influences?
See that. So this is around age 14. I would start rapping for real and never stop at 15.
Okay.
I started rapping at 14 and was like, I ain't fucking with this. Because I only started rapping because, like I said, I didn't have anything now to do. I was listening to a Wayne song on the radio as a kid. I was like, I'm hearing the literary device. I'm like, simile.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, I can do that. It's funny now because I'm like, I'm a kid listening to Wayne, one of the greatest to ever do this shit. And I'm like, I can do that shit. You know?
I admire that
confidence. I can do that shit. Like, so I came in with that mindset and I started trying to do it. I was like, this shit hard. And I quit the shit. But that's a little bit more background. But some of the artists, so Wayne was more so like, fuck it. But Lil Boosie was like somebody I was listening to Boosie, and I'm like, man, I want to touch people like this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because
infect them with that energy.
Man, it was just. I always tell people, to me, man, I put Boo in the kind of light of the spirit of Pac. As far as talking to young black youths, man, and what's going on in the neighborhoods, like that shit is like,
like
that shit is right there.
Like a public level community activist.
You know
It's
what
inspires
I'm saying?
people to make change and things like that.
It's no facade.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? This is as real and raw as it get. Mama don't want you listening to this shit. Granny probably don't want you listening to this shit, but this is the real shit.
Yeah.
So I say, Boo. As I got a little older and like around it, now I was already listening to Boo. So around about 14, 15, it would have been like Drake. Would have been the artist that made me say, oh, okay, I want to do it this way, which in this way would be storytelling.
Okay.
So I was like, I wanted to be a storyteller.
Yeah, and that's one of the first things that stood out about you when I first saw you at Manifest, and we'll touch on Manifest later, but it was your ability to, off the top of your head, not only produce rhymes that are very good and great flow and great rhythm and eternal rhyme, but you had an interconnectedness to it, which is something that so many rappers lack. Like it's one thing to be able to spit bars and to sound cool and have punchlines. It's another thing for it all to tie together. Yeah, and that's something that, well, the first time I saw you, because like I came from metal, right? So like that's my origins. And whenever my band Curse split in around 2016, I was lost. I didn't know what the hell to do. Gotcha. And my cousin moved into town from Clarksville. Oh God, where was he? Where was he at the time? South Texas, Fort Hood, Killeen.
Okay.
And he was like, we would sit in the car together and get so baked, and he'd be freestyling. He was so good. Wow. In my eyes, I was like, this is the best rapper in the world. Yeah. He's my cousin, you know? He's like,
hit like that live too. Anyway, when they doing it in front of you.
Exactly. It's a whole different world than listening to shit on tape. And he was like, you need to start doing it. So I eventually started doing it, and I've put out a lot of music, rap music since then. Yeah. And, you know, I came to Manifest thinking I'm off this fire-ass rapper or whatever. And then
I remember that now.
You got up on stage, and I was like, all right, maybe I'm not that good.
I never heard this story.
Maybe I'm not all that good.
He's honest to me about it. He may not do that in front of y'all.
You and Jaquan
is crazy.
Have a skill level that is just out of this world. I would say Quan is probably the better pure rapper.
Quan is the best rapper I know.
I would agree. He's the best pure rapper I've ever met.
That's the sad thing about him.
Yeah.
I literally say Quan is the best rapper I know.
It's crazy. He is like elite level.
So the funny thing, Quan we're from the same place. We like the only two from Bossier, from the same neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah, he's just younger than me.
How much younger?
Maybe about almost 5 years.
What?
Almost, but not quite. Ooh.
I would have thought y'all were like the same age, bro. You look so young, dude.
Nah.
Youthful exuberance. That art's keeping you young, dude.
Man, shout out to Quan.
Shout out to Quan. I'm actually going to have him on the pod this weekend.
As you should. Beautiful project.
Very excited. And so, okay, speaking of projects, let's talk about some of the stuff you got going on. Okay. So, literally, by the time that everyone's hearing this, you will have a new music video.
Now, okay. Ordinary Miracle.
Ordinary Miracle, yes, sir. So, tell us a little bit about that.
Ordinary Miracle. So that shit there, man, that's something. Okay, when I first got to working with Whitney Dusa from Newport Collective, this was one of the first pieces I think that we worked on together. I had that beat. It's just the piano beat for a long time, probably about a year or two. I call it a long time. From a South African producer. And it was just sitting around, bro, and I was like, man, I need to use this shit. You know, I really like it. And I ended up writing a piece to it one day, and what it was is just talking about the things that were going on around me. So that's pretty much gonna always be the inspiration for me, just real life anyways. But the piece I call it a think piece, man. It's just a little concept on where the song is an elevator pitch. It's
for
an
what?
Elevator pitch to life in a sense.
Okay.
And more so talking about hip hop. So you haven't seen the video yet, so this is funny. This is funny.
I did see that you're in an elevator.
I am in an elevator. I'm in an elevator, bro, and it's like I have these characters in the elevator, but each character is personifying pretty much a character in hip hop and rap.
Really?
So you got the drugged out character in there, popping pills, counting money and shit. You got the fly guy in there, he checking his swag. You got the backpack rapper in there, bit. And you got the girl, the femc, she the diva, you know what I'm saying? She's the bad bitch. Don't get mad at me for saying it. I said what I said. So we got these, and you got me in there.
Yeah.
And it's in the metaphor is really, it's playing on that. Anytime I ever told somebody I rap, when I was like coming up, they was like, you don't look like a rapper. And which always made me be like, what the fuck does a rapper look like?
Yeah.
Although I knew, you know what I'm saying? Which I guess this go back to what you said about being a true artist. Like, I just love the art, bro. So for all of the image and I think it's all important, but that shit took a backseat in my mind.
Exactly.
Because I was trying to figure out how to hit the emotions of the shit. Like, I want to make people feel this. I want to make you cry. I want to do all of these things with the medium. You know what I'm saying? So I would get a lot. I wasn't putting as much focus on my image and things like as my peers. I was working on my, not even just my bars, but just connecting, bro. Like, how the fuck can I translate life into sound?
That's, man. And this, how old were you when you decided that this was like the mindset you were going to follow with your art?
When I quit.
Literally,
so back at 14.
At 14 years old, you determined on your own, I'm not going to go with the flow of things. I have my own, I'm not going to focus on image. I'm going to focus on the art and making people feel things. But that's me as an individual. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's just who I am as a person. Like, I always had my own mind.
Well, what that is genius, bro.
Well, thank you.
That's like legitimate artistic genius. And that radiates from you. I picked up on that from the first second I saw you. Like, this man is tapped in. I can tell. And you said something about like not trying to dictate others' perceptions of you with your art. Yeah. And I would like to touch on that a little more. So how do you perceive yourself as an artist?
I don't really see myself as an artist in the strangest ways.
Okay.
I know that I create, and I know how I feel from creating, which is a sense of higher self. But I guess it's kind of one of those mind tricks where if you don't focus on, I wish I could remember this fucking quote, but it talks about like the best way to compete is to not compete.
Yes. Oh my God, that is such facts. Bro, I swear to God, every fucking room I sit in, there's like 5 dudes who have created their own little sports league in their head. Yeah. And they're trying to be like the top dog in the room. And there's nothing weaker than that, bro. Like I sit there and I watch these guys and I'm like, it reminds me of like, for lack of a better term, like base primates, like just trying to be the biggest dick in the room, like like desperately trying to counteract their own mortality and to prove to themselves that they're like immortal or like to feel like the biggest, baddest dude in the room. But it's always the dude sitting there quietly who ain't got shit to prove. Humility. And that was always you from the very beginning. Touching on Manifest again, whenever I first started coming, there was a lot of that competitive energy. Yeah. And I was a part of it. I was a part of that. I'm going to go up and fucking be the man, you know? But what's really beautiful is over time, I have watched that go away, dude. Like people who were just as bad as me, like I'm going to be the best. Even they, now, I'm not going to name names or anything.
Yeah, no.
Even they are like...
will name names.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's start at the top of the list. Let's see, we got Anthony. No, I'm just playing, Anthony. We love you. And we're going to have him on the pod very soon. And there's no backing out of it, Anthony.
You need to come speak on the platform, man.
Yeah, you do.
For real, people really need to hear from you.
He's got a lot of shit to say, dude. That is another genius.
That's a genius.
A literal genius.
He's a genius.
Yeah, there are so many at Manifest, like actual genius level intellects.
Genius.
So, Matt,
I gotta listen to the podcast.
It was awesome. It was awesome. I wish I wouldn't have stopped talking. Like it was like 2 a.m. and my brain was just so tired.
Did you go to the studio?
Mike's studio, we did it in.
Yeah, that's proper.
And Mike and everybody else listening, we're going right back to that studio for a second episode. The second we got a camera set up.
Oh shit!
So we can really dive in. Yeah.
See that shit.
But speaking of Manifest, I guess it's time to touch on that now. How did you discover Manifest?
All right, so I was in a place 2022. This was the year I was getting ready to have my second child, my son. I was getting ready to leave my job that I had been at for 10 years, from 17 to age 27. And it was the second month of the year.
Mm-hmm. Wow, the synchronicities there.
So, I had made it to this place. We're talking about humility, competition, hubris, ego.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, not even just in hip-hop, as men, that shit is like natural.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it is necessary. And it is real, too. Like, I'm not going to act like it's not a, you know what I'm saying?
You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's real, you know. I know how to go about it and navigate, you know. Don't be consumed with it. It's not the all-in of everything. But I was operating out of, for a long time, a very competitive spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But I always knew the best art came from a different vein.
Yeah.
And I couldn't always pinpoint it. But once I did, which was just being free, bro, just being myself, allowing myself to make whatever the fuck I wanted to make.
Yeah.
Like, it don't matter what's going on, what's cool right now, what's popular. Just make what felt right. Because one thing about it is, like I say, the art was always cathartic for me anyway. So the shit comes itself. I can't even hardly take credit for writing the shit. I live life, I experience the shit, I hear something, and it comes out.
And what's crazy is I hear these words coming out of your mouth, and they're the words that come out of the mouths of some of the biggest geniuses of all time. And I wonder if you even researched this, or if this just spontaneously generated inside of your head. There have been so many studies on the nature of imagination and whether the artist is a conscious entity in that process or an unconscious entity in that process. And these days, I feel like it's unconscious.
Yeah,
like,
I would definitely. I've never studied that shit, but I would say that it's unconscious. Even now, here I am getting off topic, but we're gonna double back on the actual topic. This interview probably is gonna have to go like that. You probably got to edit the fuck out this bitch to make it make sense. But on a segue of that shit though, bro, I always said that time didn't exist when I created.
Okay.
And that shit was so important for me because I was able to put in the amount of time that it's unbeknownst to me. Like, I don't know how much time I spent fucking rapping and working on rhyming and being able to do what it was I imagined myself to do. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because when I would go in, I also grew up in a very turbulent home, so a lot of arguing and shit with my parents. So when I found music, it was a close the door, put headphones in, new world.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I got lost in my shit. My shit like changed my life. Like once I realized what I wanted to do and how I wanted to connect with the shit, time didn't exist. Anytime I went into the zone.
That makes total sense. You're a Rodney Mullen, dude. You're a Tim Burton.
You know, okay.
Rodney Mullen is the greatest flatland skateboarder of all time.
Basically made all the tricks you could ever do.
Everything.
What's his name?
Rodney Mullen. And nobody has managed to surpass him to this very day. And you know the nature of sports. It's always there's someone better. Not with this dude.
Yeah.
Nobody has surpassed him since the 70s. And what would happen was his mom would lock him outside. A very abusive home. And all he had was this flat plane of concrete and a skateboard.
Damn.
And Tim Burton, his mom would lock him in a dark room with no window. All he had was his imagination.
Damn.
And so, you know who Tim Burton is?
His name is familiar.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Edward
Scissorhands.
Okay, the actor.
Yeah. No, the director, right? The director. He created Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare Before Christmas, a ton of other movies.
Must be somebody named Tim Allen. What the fuck am I talking
That's
about?
Home Improvement, bro.
Tim Allen is who he's talking about. The nigga to fix houses, man. Oh shit. I was like, why you talking about Santa Claus? Think about it. Tim Burton, bro. I don't know what that is either. I'm learning so much shit on the podcast. Y'all laugh with me. All right, keep rolling.
This is a learning experience. So, anyway, you would put yourself in this other world through music, and that is the way. So, dude, what I'm hearing is essentially you would lock yourself in a room with God,
basically,
and He's just feeding you this genius information that other people like myself had to do a lot of studying to arrive at, had to do a lot of searching to arrive at. You had this shit already at 14 years old.
Yeah, pretty much, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like, it sounds a lot better when you say the shit like that, but...
Well, that's why I got the podcast.
Honestly, that really is. And I've said that shit myself. Like, it was always more like, And when I create art, I always felt closer to God. Naturally.
That's the closest you can be to God.
It is. It's got to be, because you're acting in the form of creator.
Yeah.
You know
Which to touch on the competitive spirit you mentioned earlier, when I was talking to Michael, and I'm saying this so I can get your take on this information. I've heard people like Dr. Jordan Peterson say that it is the purpose of the artist to stand outside of those hierarchical structures.
Okay.
Almost like at the side of God directly, because like to commune with the divine directly and to observe the game of mankind and to then comment on it.
Okay.
And I would like to know how that makes you feel, because you know what, you saying that the competition aspect of it is real has got me thinking, because you know, the more this age of awakening continues, and the more people I see this through everyone start to assimilate the aspects of themselves that they don't like, or that may not be as savory as other aspects. We're starting to accept that instead of thinking we have to change it in some way. You genuinely believe that competitive spirit should remain in art?
I can't see it going anywhere.
Because it's part of humanity.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's very interesting.
I just don't see it being removed, because like you say, it's a part of humanity. It's human nature. It can exist and that be okay, and then it could exist and it become too much, and you'll see the imbalance in the artist.
So for any young artist that might be listening right now, how would you tell them to navigate that line between competition and almost monk-like humility before the creator when it comes to creation? How do you skirt that line?
I would say don't listen to me. I would say don't listen to Tyler.
That's
I would
valid.
say listen to yourself.
Very valid.
Your inner voice, because that is divine. And the moment that you start taking so much direction, which you have to take direction again, because this is life.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's how you advance. But you need to have the mindset, first of all, to understand what to the discernment to know what to take and what not to leave. Now, I am a trustworthy source, so I will say this. Really though. But no, to answer the question more directly though, and not to be ambiguous as fuck, I would just say that look at yourself and observe where you stand with the competition aspect of it all. Okay, so with myself, which goes back to the original question, as to I was super competitive.
Yeah.
I was hyper competitive, which was playing more so out of my narcissistic ego.
Yeah.
It was very self-centered, and
I've
that
been
shit had me, that'll have you turning your ear off to shit that you need to listen to grow.
Yes.
Shit you need to see to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be turning yourself off to these things because now you've placed yourself in this superior light.
Yep. And you've closed your ears.
Now you closed off. You closed your mind, your ears, you closed your eyes, you closed all the senses in which you need to create meaningful art.
And you know what? I was actually just thinking that. I did a little ADHD dolphining right there. I can't help it. I'm curious as to how you think it is possible to skirt that line and to maintain honesty with your position in a competitive structure in art, because there's such a subjectivity to it.
Yeah.
How do you, like, at what point is it okay for you to sit there and say, I'm the best?
Shit. I think you need to feel that.
Regardless of whether you are or not?
Because, well...
You gotta believe in yourself, man.
That's manifestation.
You believe in yourself.
You're right.
So it's like, first of all, the concept of perfection and best don't exist to me.
Okay. You're right.
The shit not real to me. You know what I'm saying? The shit is not real to me.
Very true.
But it's cool. Again, just like competition.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to have that thought and to be able to entertain these ideals depending on what they're coming out of. So I'm the best. It's my confidence. I gotta talk to myself. Maybe I came from some shit that, bro, my confidence was broken, low, self-esteem, shit to the floor. Told I wasn't nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. I'm the best.
Yeah.
I'm the best. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm the best. You don't worry about why I'm telling myself this. This shit for me.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's cool. Operating it. To just not be overconsumed with this shit, though.
Because it seems like a very thin line between that and full-blown narcissism. So how do you stop from crossing over into that?
I don't myself. I allow myself to. I'm actually working on a project right now that's rooted in the concept of narcissism and damn, what's the theory related to the shit? Man, what we just talking about this shit?
Related to what? Like the nature of narcissism?
But it's a theory within narcissism.
Dunning-Kruger effect?
Nah.
What is the nature of the theory? Like, we don't got to touch on the name. Maybe if you say what it is.
Like a grand destiny awaiting yourself.
A grand destiny awaiting yourself? Like
a super high calling to your life. Like,
I think that's just belief in God, man.
No, but it's you. Like, you are destined on this path for greatness.
Well, where's the line? Because you are just a fractal of God, bro. So
which is true.
For you to see that in yourself is to see God inside of yourself, and thusly to actually see yourself.
To a certain, and that's when the fine line is like, and that's for me is like that fine ass line you get to flirting with. I wish I could think of the name of the fucking theory that's within that shit. But I'm working on a project like that. So myself, I personally just embrace myself.
Yeah.
Like all of that which is me. I'm not gonna push nothing to the back. Not gonna shun any parts of myself. I'm just gonna embrace all of me.
Wow.
We all got voices within myself. Like all of the multitudes of me has a voice and something to say and something to offer, and they exist for a reason. So I just allow them to speak now.
That is extremely profound, because I can speak from experience and say that the narcissist has occupied my shadow for a long time. I've been so scared of being perceived as a narcissist, so scared of being seen as somebody who is acting out of self-interest, because I perceive myself to be a pretty talented guy, you know, I have friends that back that up, but it's like I'm so scared, or I have been so scared in the past of people seeing me as a guy who thinks he's the best. And now you're sitting here saying, just tell yourself you're the best. Yeah. Like, just let that assimilate that narcissistic aspect of yourself, accept it as who you are, and just allow it to take over when it shows up.
You gotta manifest it, man.
You gonna be that anyways.
You gotta be that.
See, but and consciously, I understand that. But for a long, I guess not until right here sitting and talking to you now, has it occurred to me on an unconscious level that it's okay to do that.
What's crazy is how it won't manifest if you don't accept it.
Yeah, you will project it.
You legitimately will deny yourself from being great.
And I was doing that, dude. You probably saw it in my stories. I was like, I'm never going to create art again. Yeah. I stopped everything. I stopped writing.
Wow. It was almost a whole year.
I thought I was done, dude.
I'm proud of you.
I thought I was done and was never going to create again because it was a self-serving thing to create. And now I see, even if part of it is self-serving, that's okay.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. This is why I like you.
If you ever have the drive or the influence to want to create something, it's part of the things that you have gathered through your lifetime and your experiences. A lot of people can't tap in and out of that. You've always been able to tap in and out of it.
That's true. I have, and by the way, for those listening, this third voice you're hearing is my good friend Ben Laffitte. Ben, if you want to say
just hanging out, boys.
He's just hanging out, pitching his wisdom every now and then. But that's true, man. It's something I'm having to accept, and it's very scary because I'm seeing now how powerful I truly am, and how the potential for star status that has always existed inside of me, and I'm having to push down that fear of that fear of being seen as, oh, this guy thinks he's a fucking star. Yeah.
Accept all of it and become unapologetically you as an artist, because that's the only way for you to ascend into it.
Man,
you just gotta accept all your flaws, all your goods, all your bads, and just keep on moving, baby.
I knew this cast was gonna be fire, but I didn't expect it to be this fire. Okay, and since we're on this topic of ways that you have impacted me and ways that you have changed my frame of mind since I've met you, let's talk about something you said to me at Mikey P's house. Shout out Mikey P.
Mikey P.
He's also going to be on the podcast very soon.
Gotta be.
we were sitting in his house, and you said to me when we were talking about all the things that I do and all the things that I create. I think you remember me bringing this back up to you later. You said to me,
exactly what you're gonna say.
You said, "Is there anything that you do every day?"
Yeah.
And you know, I sat there at the time. I was like, "No." So then I went home and I thought about it a lot for days and days and days and days. And I was like, "There is nothing I do every day. This is a problem. This is a genuine problem that there's nothing that I do every day." Because as someone who has considered himself a Renaissance man for so long, I've been a jack of all trades, master of none. I haven't taken those core things that I like to do and made sure I do them every day so that I can practice continued growth and prevent rust and prevent stagnation. And you know, we're these creatures of habit, and I've been denying that. So I'd like to ask you, what habits do you embody that you like? What helps you stay in that ritual to stay in that consistent flow of creativity every day? What are the things that you do every day that maintain that consistency?
Shit, I don't put no pressure on myself to create.
Yeah.
That's the first thing.
Okay.
I don't approach art as in some shit like, hey, give me something today. I need this great ass offering to get to. I just don't approach it like that. Like I used to. I just stopped thinking like that. I stopped trying to force shit. I stopped trying to be any fucking thing, and I just accepted who the fuck I was, how I perceived the world, and I realized my perception of the world is really what people fuck with.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the voice and I guess like the gift to do the shit musically and perform the shit in a way that everybody can.
Yeah, and also you have like a level 20 charisma stat, bro. Like literally the most charismatic dude I've ever met.
With a little charisma. A little charisma in my lingo, man. That's all. But no, really, Tyler, though, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not waking up out of bed like, let me have my water and my coffee before I have my food.
I'm gonna go hit 16 bars right now.
You know what I'm saying?
Go right to you know.
It's just not that. You know what I'm saying? It's no secret for me.
You don't have a ritual?
It's no ritual.
Do you pray or meditate every day?
Man, I'm in an interesting place with my faith. I would say yes, but in my own ways, you know, in my own ways, I do pray. In my own ways, I do meditate. I spend time with myself every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, I fight for that. Like, I'm gonna spend some time with myself.
I'd like to ask you something, and this is a pretty deep question.
Come on.
Okay. They say that, you know, creativity and symbols and things like that exist in the unconscious brain, like below our conscious, right?
Okay.
So they say that there are certain people who exist in a state called walking delta, myself included, to where we sort of hover, and instead of being completely up in the conscious mind where some people are, or most people are these days, thinking all the time,
Thank you.
and existing in the sensory world, we sort of exist a little bit lower, like bouncing on the top of the unconscious, to where sometimes you can dive beneath it and tap directly into it. It's not by your choice.
Yeah.
And then bounce back up. Okay, let me ask you this first off. Do you see like a stream of images in your head at all times like I do?
I don't know, bro. That's hard for me to imagine, so I'm gonna say no.
How about this? Close your eyes. Do you see stuff?
Nah.
Nothing.
Blank.
Okay, then how that's very interesting, because I watch, if I close my eyes, I'm seeing a weird bipedal pink pelican on a skateboard, grinding on the cannon of a Sherman tank.
Hell no. I'm a very normal person in those regards. I swear to God, bro, like I'm average as fuck in my mind.
Yeah.
Like I don't see the extraordinary as even the art shit is so funny, because like the music, like being around y'all, it manifests like this was having to tell me like, Rachard, you an inclined musician.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hell no.
What? You said no?
I rap. That's it, bro. I ain't going playing nothing. I don't know no scales. I don't know no theory. You know what I'm saying? You would be thinking that's the shit that you need to know, but
and yet you spit some shit at one of the first manifests I still have stuck in my head that you might not even remember. I can't even remember all the words. It was something like,
oh man, you crazy.
I've had that melody in my head since that day, bro.
That's fine.
And actually, my song "Strawberry Jelly," the first verse of it, I don't know, you probably didn't notice, But there's a little like shout out to your style, the way that you do things right there at the very beginning. I didn't know if you would notice it or not.
That gonna make me cry.
That was a little something for you in there.
You gonna make me cry.
Okay, so we're talking about habits and how they affect your creativity. You're a father.
Yeah.
That is one of the major things that affects creativity is bearing offspring and having to take care of children. So how the fuck do you maintain that balance? Because I'm going to tell you straight up, I have basically decided that I have to choose between children and art, that there's no way I'm going to be able to do both. So the fact that you're able to be this fire-ass dad, this cool-ass dad, and an artist at the level that you're at is mind-blowing to me. So I would like for you to speak a little bit on that, if you don't mind.
Man, you said a mouthful when you said choosing that art of them kids.
Yeah.
All right. So, one thing I've noticed of late, because I damn near stopped doing shit when I had my first kid because it's just such a dramatic and drastic life change.
Yeah.
Like, everything in your world fucking flips. Like, if you're gonna do it for real, you know, you're gonna be there every day, every night, every step of the way with them. And they go through that phase, like especially the newborns and shit. The whole first year of life is crazy. So what I noticed what it did to me, Tyler, was that it took away so much of the me time that I had. And I always had so much time to be able to just sit to myself. Like,
Yeah.
my meditation time was crazy. Like, because I would write rhymes like in a very traditional way. Sit down, play the beat on repeat, just as long and just get lost in it. Time again did not exist to me. So when I had my kid though, you know, that shit changed. Like all of that time was no longer available to me. I still wanted to rhyme, I still wanted to make music, but I had to find my footing in it. And what happened for me was like my focus increased. Like
your awareness, like your actual physical.
That too.
But when you say your focus increased, do you mean like habitual focus or like awareness focus? Like
my ability to focus.
Got you.
My ability to have unbroken chains of thought no matter what's going on outside of me.
That's wild.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
Like it seems like a change that was made on a chemical level. I wonder if there's a biological element to that, to where like having kids, like I have a task now and I need my awareness at maximum.
I hear some people that don't get it.
Really? Yeah. That's a shame.
You know what I'm saying? Like some people, but when you think about it though, I was already exhibiting an extremely high level of focus to even sit down and to write.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think when I took it to a level of being like, I might be at the park with them, we might be at home, they might be just making a whole lot of noise, I might be doing laundry, I still might be working on the song. Once I made it to that level that I could just, it was pretty much becoming for me, how can I keep doing what I was doing before I had kids, not lose any of that, but still somehow take it to a higher level, and still keep growing in it.
Yeah. And
I think having kids kind of broke down a lot of the barriers for me that I may have placed on myself. Like, oh, I gotta sit down and write. That's how I gotta formulate these songs, bro. Manifest is all improv. All that shit is all impromptu. So it's like that whole style, bro. Like you don't just get up there and start doing this shit. That's some shit you kind of already gotta be working on, man.
Which I'm not a good improviser on stage. That's not my element.
You play well.
Sure, but the level that I'm capable of operating at when I sit down and write makes me look like a damn fool on stage at Manifest.
They're two different skills.
They are two completely different skills. And that's what blows my mind about you and Jaquan is that your storytelling with internal rhyme, with melody, with flow, is off the top of your heads.
If you can do that and write, that puts you in a different category.
That puts you in elite.
Like you're a hybrid then.
Most people don't have both.
Yeah.
So if you can improv and then go down and write some stuff that's equally good, if not better, that puts you in a whole other echelon.
I think my mind frame was locked on kind of meshing the two.
Yeah.
So like, how can I just change my whole writing style?
That's exactly how I did my shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can I just, okay, fuck it. Things have changed. Life has changed. I can't just sit down and do this shit like I used to. How we gonna do it? I was already kicking shit like I spent so many hours freestyling by myself.
Yeah.
Like with my close friends that it's like not fucking funny. Like that was the shit we did. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be dope as fuck at this shit. Bro.
Yeah.
So I always kind of had a feeling too that there would be a time that would come where I wouldn't have an abundance of time to formulate songs. Like it was gonna have to be like, how do you take what you feel, life, and translate it to sound? Instantaneous, damn near.
And do you feel like that perception of a temporal deadline? Do you feel like that made you work harder and work faster to get to the skill level you're at?
Nah.
No?
Nah.
Because it definitely affected me. Like the feeling, one of the primary things that motivates me to stay creating is the feeling that it could all be over tomorrow, and that I need to leave something behind. So so when you saw that there would be a day that your time would be cut down exponentially, that was just something that you just understood and just accepted without any impetus to change your habits as far as creativity goes.
Yeah, nah, because I was thinking about life and not really the music.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, at a certain point, eventually, like, bro, shit had got so real in my life. My actual living, day-to-day life, my relationships. I had some relationships falling down. I had people dying. Life was happening. And I wasn't in a place of being, like, in the forefront of my mind. How is the artist gonna survive this? You know what I mean? I'm like, nah, I'm just trying to make it through this shit, type shit. And art was just always there for me as a cathartic ass release for me.
Yeah.
I swear to God, bro, me, like, you gonna reference to so many people, I'm gonna be like, I don't know who that is. Like, bro, I'm just not, like you said though, but I just have not studied this shit in depth or nothing like that. I just learned that, like, I know myself.
I think that's a good way to stay original.
Yeah, and as someone who has skirted, or as someone, well, not even skirted, as someone who has inhabited both extremes, somebody who is completely disconnected from the zeitgeist, all the way to someone who is so tapped in, I know everything that's going on. I can say that that's the superior way to be. Is more like detach yourself from the zeitgeist, because I don't remember who it was I heard say this, but they said, if you're trying to follow a trend, you're too late. If you're trying to follow a trend, you're already too late.
And that's, man.
So, to be able to be friends with so many legitimate trailblazers who aren't content to follow what everybody else is doing is the biggest blessing I've ever received in my life. And the reason that I agreed to, I started doing this podcast is seeing all this talent around me. I'm like, there are like international level people that I can legitimately call my friends now. And one thing that's really wild is, like, years and years and years before I ever discovered Manifest, and Ben can attest to this, I would dream of something like that existing. Having that network of, like, whenever I first left Curse, I wanted to be a hip-hop drummer.
Okay.
I wanted to be a drummer for a hip-hop group. And so now I saw myself in the room surrounded by this shit that I ironically had manifested for myself, and it was real right before my eyes, and I started crying behind the drum kit, dude. Bro, I started crying behind the drum kit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. As fuck. Because you guys, you, Mac, Anthony, Mike, all you guys have changed my life, dude.
Bro, I think you've said it in counsel with me several times in private, but you said it was one of the Manifest to you was one of the better things that's happened to you.
It is the best thing that's ever happened to me. It has saved my life. Bro. It has saved me from myself, dude.
I believe you. I feel like I know exactly what you're saying, bro.
Music heals.
So, speaking of Mac, I've seen pictures of you guys, like, as part of shared projects from years and years ago. How did you meet Mac?
I ain't even been knowing Mac that long. For a personal level, so.
Really? Because the pictures I saw looked like they were at least 3 years old, 4 years old.
I've been knowing him probably about that amount of time.
Well, in my world, that's a long time. But so how'd you meet Mac?
I originally met him in the scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Through shows and stuff?
Yeah, I went to this is funny. It ended up being his first performance. I was at his first performance. I didn't know it was his fucking first show. I didn't even know him. I just I was going to support a friend of mine, she was taking pictures at the show. She was like, shit, you might as well come. So I looked up all of the I was like the kids, because they younger than. I was like, I looked up all the kids, you know what I'm saying, and played some of their music and shit. And he was one of the artists on that bill. And we would talk later on. He would tell me like, oh yeah, you know, my first performance was Voodoo. I was like, the show in Minute City? He was like, yeah, with Voodoo, woo, woo. I was like, damn, bro, I was there. And so that's actually that's the first time I had actually been in like his presence or seen him perform. I also had it was another little organization that had got a start up in the city. Didn't really go too far or whatnot, but he was in like one of the original meetings for that. And still though, didn't really talk to him. I'm like a hard pressed person at this point in time.
Yeah.
Very competitive, things like that. I'm like focused on me. The shit I got going on is what I'm concerned about. So
yeah,
I wasn't really just really too plugged into the scene like I should have been, and really giving the ear to the other talents and whatnot. Wasn't really hard up on trying to work with nobody and nothing like that. I kind of had a mindset I was just gonna do this shit on my own type shit. But so that was like how I first heard of Mac and whatnot, and which actually loops around to how I even got into the place. Cause bro, you asked me how I even ended up at Manifest.
Yeah.
Like, bro, before I made it to Manifest, like that whole point of me telling you about where I was in my job and like how I had the kid on the way and shit, bro, and how I was finna get ready to leave my job and shit. It was also the turning point for me in my mindset about how I was gonna approach this shit. I wanted to take some time out to really just give my talent back to my community in a sense of service, though.
That's beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just really just plant myself in that bit. Like, hey, I don't know what y'all got going on, but whatever y'all got going on, however I can help, I'm with this shit. And that was it, bro. So I started, Mac and Kate was like the first people that really just allowed me to be a part of what they had going on. I was just coming out and being like an extra in shoots and shit like that. You needed somebody to hold something. Like, I'm down. Like, I do that shit. And that's really how I got to know them. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy to hear that. It's crazy to hear that and consider that even by the leadership in Manifest, you are considered a leader. Like, that's crazy, dude. You've gone from an extra on the shoot to the damn fucking alpha male of the pride, bro. It's fucking crazy to watch.
But I had the understanding too when I was even doing it. I always had the understanding that the greatest leader is also the greatest servant.
Yes, and dude, that's the only leader.
Yeah,
you can't lead without serving.
Nah,
it's impossible. And the very concept of leadership without servitude is just silly, because what is leadership if not serving the people that are following you? You know, bringing them to a better place, bringing them to the promised land.
Shit don't exist. So.
And you are definitely somebody that I feel like will help lead Manifest to the promised land. And so speaking of which, what do you see as like a potential future? Like what do you hope to get out of Manifest in the future?
Well,
or see happen for it?
So when I embarked on the journey, another thing that like I told myself was like, I don't really got nothing I want to get from it. I just want to give. But that was being pure, you know, in my intention to not have like a expected outcome. Like, oh, what can I receive? But
when we push that out of the way a little bit.
But no, I just want to say that. So, but all right, so check this out. Remember when I told you I started rapping around like 14?
Yeah.
So I had no understanding of like how music worked in the sense of like recording records, and like I ain't know you could go buy mics, little cheap mics, and record your own shit. I had my best fucking friend rapped.
Yeah.
Like he really like was into this shit, bro. And before me. And he had a huge part to play as to what like me starting to rap. We hooped and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He was never like crazy good at basketball, but he was like a fucking tech nerd, bro.
Yeah.
And like on that RuneScape shit, like
fucking RuneScape, bro. Shout out RuneScape.
Bro, the nigga was like had a character like in the 120s. Like multiple 99s, like nigga like lost his life to this shit.
Dude had all the skill capes, bro.
He like stopped doing shit, bro. Like he wouldn't go skating, like he wouldn't go to the boardwalk. It was like, oh, he was
Every musician we know about.
all of them. What is it with RuneScape and musicians,
shit
dude?
took my boy life, man. But for real, bro, he was rapping though. And he was always like, Kendrick was like his favorite rapper when Kendrick came out. Shit. He was on shit like that.
Yeah.
But bro had a USB mic, bro, and they was putting out songs. He was putting out songs in middle school on MySpace. Yeah.
MySpace. Lord.
Bro. And like, I didn't know how that shit was going down, bro. How they could do that shit. But he, I was like, bro, let me rap with you. You know what I'm saying? Let me do some shit. I'm gonna fuck with it too. I bet, you know. I would come over, he would like record me and shit. On the back of his door, the mic was hanging. It was a little USB mic. Hanging on the back of the door type shit. I'm talking real grinding, bro.
You're hearing it rattle against the door type.
Real grinding. Hoping his mama don't come in.
Damn.
Oh, and the whole thing.
Cut that tape.
Give me from the top. man, rest in peace, Miss Brenda. But, bro, so when he was working on the project, and this was gonna be like my first time featuring as like an artist on anybody's shit. Man, let me do a verse on some shit. I was like, cool. He was like, bro, what's your rap name? I was like, shit.
What is it? I don't know.
Rachard. But I was like, bro, we should start a band. Real shit. I was like, bro.
Wait. That's not the shit that's on Spotify, is it?
Nah.
Okay.
Check this out. I said, bro, we should start a band.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And he was like, oh, I'm like on some Roots shit, but I don't know who the Roots is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With an MC, man, like a band with an MC. He just kind of laughed at the shit, you know what I'm saying? But I could tell, I felt it. I was like, yeah, bro, not taking me fucking serious.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
That was lit the fire right
you know
there.
what I'm saying? So I was like, man, we should start it. But when I said it, I even had a name for the band. I was like, bro, we should do a band. We should be like something in the locals. Like the locals should be like the name of the band.
Cool. Yeah.
I was like, we should be the locals. Everybody want to be big and shit, but I was like, we should be the locals, bro, and hit home with this shit.
Yeah.
He was like, that's when he laughed.
Mm-hmm.
So I took that conversation and fast forward actually to when we finished the song and shit. He was like, bro, what you want me to credit you as? I was like, credit me as Rachard the Local. I rapped under that name for a long ass time. But when I came in rapping, I knew the original proposition was that I be in a band. Like I was like, bro, let's make a band. Like we can be a fucking band.
Rachard the Local. That's fire.
I feel like we had the same parallel.
Man, shit be
And,
crazy.
Yeah.
Listening to.
Yeah, like hearing you bring up the MySpace days. Like I don't know how much you know about my background, but I've been in the Shreveport metal scene since 2007, bro.
You told me this shit.
I was 16 years old doing this shit on stage on MySpace, just like that, and like you were clearly way ahead of me as far as like the artist mentality goes. Like that's fucking actually mind blowing to me that you didn't study any of that to get there. Yeah, but yeah, man.
Before the internet, really.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, bro.
It's really awesome, and I've been doing this shit a long time. And to finally, like, to bring up what you said about like doing the shit local, that was never something I really had access to. I've been an outsider since I got into this shit. I've been had to fight to prove every last bit of anything I got in this city. But now that I'm actually, after damn near 20 years of doing this, finally getting some sort of insider status, like, it feels really good. I don't really want to do the whole national, global, celebrity, whatever thing anymore. I'd be just fine with being a community actor, like doing shit here.
I know when we started Curse,
Yeah.
that was my mindset. Like, I knew we would be able to tour, whatever, but the success that the previous band that I was in had, I saw how successful it can be if you tap into and support and really nurture your local scene.
Yep.
And Shreveport, people always forget this, but Shreveport was the musical capital.
Dude, the Hayride fucking diner. If we could somehow get that Hayride diner back going, dude, that was like the birthplace of rock and roll, basically, dude.
Shreveport has always been surrounded by so many talented musicians.
Yeah.
It's just an untapped market.
Speaking of like just mounds of talent and groups of talent, I'd like to speak to you a little bit about Newport because I'm very curious about this project. Mac and Kate are also a part of this. Jaquan, Dusa. I'd very much like to know more about Newport. So let's start by, I'd like to ask you what the mission statement of Newport is.
Here you go, put me on the spot.
We can skip that. But
right, so I can talk about Newport for a little while. But as far as like the mission statement, New is actually very much so in its infancy stages. I will say that New is in its infancy stages. I think there's a great need for an art collective, and I think Newport is just an art collective, just like Manifest is a
art collective.
Yeah, and it's the huge one.
Yeah,
like the big.
Like Newport's kind of exists inside of Manifest.
Yeah, everything is kind of.
Everyone who's in Newport is involved with Manifest. Everyone.
Yeah. I think it's just New is in the emphasis on the black community too. Is what New is. So it's a little sub focusing on that particular pocket, really locking in on the black community. But as far as like the mission statement of it, just to kind of summarize it, it's pretty much that, bro. Just taking what it is that we are and what we have, coming together, having a sense of unity, bringing these talents and resources together, and bringing a greater grand offering to the community.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've wanted to have something like what you guys have for a long time. Like to have somebody who just wants to work the camera. Shout out Kate. That's fucking fire, dude. Nobody wants this. That's like such a big problem with my generation in particular. Gen Z is not as bad, but millennials, everybody just wants to be the damn main character. Like, it don't matter how amazing or how, like, great your project is. They want their idea to be what everybody works on. They want to showcase themselves.
Takes a village, bro.
Exactly. And that's what I think Gen Z is doing way better than than my generation did. Is there's way more of, like, a, like you said, a collective aspect to it. There's less, like, I want to be the main character as there is, like, we could really do some cool shit.
Man, I think that just comes from. This is a very interesting place, Shreveport.
Yeah, it is.
And man, you speak on the music, and a lot of the music that's popular, or the popular sounds, the things that we are probably known for, and you see artists like a Max Swans, bro. Or artists like Rachard, and it's like, man, all of the shit I had to learn, like, bro, this shit was tooth and nail fighting through so much because the infrastructure really doesn't exist to support that type of artist.
Yeah, this city exists to support gigging musicians, people who play covers, who play at bars, who play at restaurants. Like, for a true artist, it's so hard to get your feet off the ground here these days.
The opportunity is so scarce.
When I was coming up, that shit was easy. You could walk out the door and a show would fall on your lap. Am I wrong? That shit was like, there was shows every time you turned around.
We had a bunch of booking agents back then, too, though.
Yeah, we did. It was so easy to get shows, and now it's so not.
Man, even in that, you gotta be specific to the sound.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying?
You can't have like your style on a show.
You could have put me out back in the time that you said all of the booking agents was in. That shit probably still would have looked the same. For me, it still would have been like.
I almost always book.
You would have killed it.
It was different.
You would have killed it back then.
I don't know.
If we would have linked up back then, I'd took care of it.
You would have killed it.
It's such that kind of thing though.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's just
everywhere.
It's waves, man. Like our area has always been in waves. I wouldn't say a hierarchy, but there's been a set group here that's been pretty much involved through the past decades.
The it crowd.
But they're the ones who kind of keep it going. But
not these days. The paradigm is shifting.
That's what I'm
watching
saying.
it happen.
Things have changed.
I'm meeting those people though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. And being in my position, I'm meeting them.
Which is crazy. I'm seeing you tap in with people like Jerry Lee and tap in with like people like Michael Stevens, people who have been active for a long time. And it's so awesome to see like this unity, this coalescing of talent in the city, man.
Let me double back to this. Is gonna be a good fucking podcast.
Oh,
I can chop this bitch up, but
we ain't touching it. We're going.
I'm telling you though, but look. So Michael Stevens. At this point again, we talk about me getting back into Manifest. How I ever made it back to Manifest. This is the segue. We're back at this. I jump on Instagram at this time when I'm leaving the job. I'm at the hospital. So I'm about to be born. I got nothing but time. I'm just chilling right now. I get on Instagram, bro, and I'm just like, fuck. I'm finna find
something.
Everybody. I called it the other side of the city.
Yeah.
Man, who playing it Key? Who playing it at Bears? Who playing the Highland Jazz?
Yeah.
Who the fuck are these people? Let me see something.
Yeah.
I start finding all the musicians. Fuck it. I start following them, but I'm following you with intention.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see what the fuck going on.
Mm-hmm.
So when I follow them, first I go to their page, and I'm pretty much listening. I'm trying to hear everything you got on this motherfucker. And I'm like, this shit crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you are such a student of the game, man. It's awesome to see how much of a student of the game you are.
I'm like, this shit, I'm hearing Holy Witch. I'm hearing all these bands. I'm like, nah, this shit tough.
Yep.
So I'm really appreciating it.
Yeah.
And some of the first people I find, you brought up Michael Stevenson, but some of the first people I found were Andrew Lewis.
Andrew. Shout out Andrew.
Andrew introduced me to Tyran.
Mm-hmm.
And through Tyran, I was able to meet Tom. And they were the first people to link up with us and jam. They set up a jam for us at Mini City just one night. And I was like, fuck it, Mac, you want to come, man? We're going to go jam with these guys. I was like, bro, you'll bring your camera, like, and capture some of this shit. Mac was just going to come to shoot some pictures for me.
Yeah.
Type shit. Like, I guess he was just, like, showing the same love I had showing him. You know what I'm saying? Because I was just down to do whatever. I guess bro was like, shit, I'm down to do whatever for you. And it just kind of started like that with us, speaking on that bond.
Yeah.
Now, this is 2022, though, remember?
Yeah.
So, we go to Mini City, and we all just end up jamming and playing some shit. Like, we had played some of our originals. Me and Mac played, like, a couple of our original records. They was like, they jumped on instruments and just started picking that shit up.
Yeah.
We was like
geniuses, all three of those
guys. Okay, this fire.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, we in Mini City rapping our songs to live instruments with them.
Mm-hmm.
Doing all kind of shit. Now we freestyling. Now we, you know what I'm saying? We get comfortable.
Yeah. For sure.
That was the first time that shit happened, bro, probably in like a March or some shit of February, March of 2022.
Mm-hmm.
The next time, because we was like, we were going to do that shit every week. The next week came, Tyran was like, we're going to meet at this location. And we're going to go over here. They got something going on. And we're going to go and just do that instead. Like, all of us. I was like, shit. I was like, Matt, you know what I'm saying? This what T said. He was like, I'm with it. I was like, shit, we with it. So we pull up Dalzell. You know what I'm saying? We pull up to Dalzell. We pull up to Manifest. It's crazy. This shit like a house party. But it's a meeting going on before this shit. We're sitting there having a meeting, and it's like, who with Anthony?
Of course.
He would be like moderating this shit and breaking it down as to what was going on. It was like, you know what I'm saying? This is a point of community, and we're going to come here as a collective, and we will pitch our ideas here, and whomever is in the room that can take a part of that project and offer a resource will do such.
Yep.
I was like,
that is crazy.
This is tough.
That is a crazy.
I'm like, this is, and then we will jam.
Yeah.
Man, so the manifest.
It's like recruit a musician, bro.
You sign up sheet. It's a sign-in sheet when you come in.
Yeah, dude.
You put your information on, like your name, your email, your telephone. You know what I'm saying? So, bro creating the fucking directory.
Yeah.
He got the plan, bro. That's why we saying Anthony is really a genius.
Tapped in. He's so smart, man.
Man, Anthony
so
really
smart.
a genius.
I cannot wait to have him on here. It's gonna be such a fire ass podcast.
Anthony really is a fucking genius. He really got this shit planned.
Yeah, he does.
So, So that's my real introduction to manifest. That's how I got into manifest.
That's a crazy ass story.
But
dude.
I followed so many people like the Michael Stevens, Jerry Lee, so many other people. Like me and John Martin went against each other in Critical Mass.
I'm not familiar with John Martin.
Okay, John Martin. Yeah, okay, you one of those.
I'm sure I'll meet him.
Like
are
Stevens. You know?
Are you tapping into Critical Mass this year?
Yeah, I'm gonna get in every discipline.
What are you doing for the literary? Do you write like a poem or something?
I ain't gonna tell you.
Oh, secret. Zip up. Okay.
Literary. I did literary last year though.
Yeah.
I did a poem last year for literary. I don't know for sure if I'm gonna do all 3 disciplines, but
why not?
if I do it, it'll be like a song book or some shit, bro. Like I don't know. I have to figure out something cool to do. I'm not finna go and read. I'm not doing nothing. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not finna go and write a book.
Yeah.
For the sake of getting a critical mass. Like, I gotta figure out a way.
Yeah.
I'm already doing literature, so if I can compute in my mind and create like a way to it's presentation at this point. I got the body of work. It's just presentation. So if I can figure out how to present this shit.
Alright,
So with critical mass, bro, I actually I did critical mass for the first time in 2020. The pandemic year.
Really?
I won the performance.
Wait, they did critical mass in the middle of the pandemic?
So, 2020 is like the beginning. Critical mass is in March.
Oh, so it was like
when shit was getting weird, the weirdest. Like they barely made it, bro. It's like the next. I think literally the next week, like everything
shit
was
shut down.
Wow.
Yeah. So I got to play against Tipsy, so that shit was big for me. And Ricky Latt, which was fire. I look up to them. I ended up getting to play with them. But yeah, they were like on the bill, like competing for this shit. And I remember like doing the performance, and when I got off stage, I was backstage, and one of the big dogs from the band was like, "You won." And I was like, "Damn, that's fire." He was like, "You won." He was like, "Ain't no way." He was like, "Not for the win." And that was like, so critical mass. I found out about this shit, bro. I was still working on my job. I come from working at the library too. That's the job that I was in for 10 years. From 17 to 27, I worked in the library. That's very important because not only like, bro, I worked at the public library for 10 years from 17 to 27. The whole concept of me saying I'm going to approach art, the community, and be like, I'm going to just be a servant. The library taught me this shit. I worked at the central branch in Bossier, which is like, so that's the largest branch in Bossier Parish. And it's like in the city. So it's like the demographics are vast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm getting everything and everybody. And in this process, I learned how to be me at all times, for real. Under all kind of situations, I'm dealing with all kind of people, all kind of levels. It's just a very and you talk about charisma, is when you really learn how to, bro, I didn't even know how to talk to like white people.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Like you couldn't
literally
you navigate a conversation culturally?
I had white people in the sense of, cause like I didn't know how to talk to all white people. Okay, yeah, I had some white teachers that might have been, but that's my teacher. And I got white peers, but these are my peers. But now I'm starting to talk to people that's like making. This is when you gotta learn what's important and what's real to you too.
Yeah.
Because I'm perceiving everything. I'm like, man, these people making goddamn 6 figures coming up in this bitch looking like, we talking this damn now, talking a different language.
Dude, but that's not like I can't talk to those people. I barely know how to talk to those people.
We talking about this shit was culture shock for me in the weirdest way.
Yeah.
Because I was at home. But not even just white people. That's not on. I'm Asians, Hispanic. I'm talking to so many different people. I'm having conversation. I work in a fucking desk that you are coming to for a service point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna go like that.
Yeah.
Hey, oh fuck. She got a month. She can't even check out. She owe goddamn me this amount of money. That ain't a matter that she probably don't got it. It's just like, oh, I'm finna have to break this news. They done win and she done got all. She came back to the fucking desk with $40. She thinks she finna get checked. Ma'am, there's a balance on your account of $139.53, and until this balance is paid, you are not gonna be able to check out today.
Ooh.
Bro,
that's fucking
$139 a late fee.
And it's just like I'm already intimidated in this because like I don't even know how to talk to you.
Yeah, that's intimidating.
So I had to die like so many deaths. Like at this job, I died so many social deaths. I had to have so many conversations with people that like people want to talk to me about the craziest shit, and not the craziest shit, literally their world. And I got to experience so many worlds through the lives of all of these people. I talked to so many people, and so many people told me so many things, and I was able to just listen.
Is there a particular story that stands out in your head?
Bro, I met so many people. I worked at the library for 10 years.
That's a long... I bet you did.
Bro, I got so many stories. But what I learned from that, though, bro, when I always went to work, I always had the mentality of just, I really wanted to help these people as much as I could. So, I took that as a mentality for my life.
It was always interesting seeing how vulnerable people will be to a stranger. They'll tell you everything.
Everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you like
one
thing that I learned from my last relationship was to like in the game Dark Souls, when you approach an NPC, if you press A on them one time, they say their one little line and whatever, it's usually a little bit of lore. Then if you push it again, they say something completely different. And you push it again, they say something different.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes 5 or 6, 7 pushes of that A button before finally that NPC is like, hey, here's some really pivotal shit that's going to completely alter the entire game for you forever.
Yeah.
And I never, my whole life, sat there and thought, or the whole time playing these games, like maybe real life is like that.
Yeah.
No, like in so many social interactions, I've been the type to get my little necessity out and keep on moving.
Yeah.
But one thing that I learned from my last relationship is to keep pushing A.
Yeah.
Keep pushing A, because you don't know what this person might know. Like, it could be the crackhead on the side of the street, and you don't know what he's gone through to get to that point, what he might know. So that's one of the main goals of this podcast. Is I'm going to bring in people of all kinds who I think will have awesome things to say and try to get that greatness out of them.
Man, people got a lot to say. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they do.
And so I come from the perspective of the listener when I open my mouth and I get ready to speak too. But yeah, bro, man, I worked at the library for 10 years, so that shit like taught me about service in a whole different type of way. It taught me about humility in a whole different type of way, a compassion and an empathy for people in a whole different type of way. So,
and I would definitely say that's something that you do not lack whatsoever. You have an innate emotional understanding, I would say. I'll refrain from saying emotional intelligence. It's a highly disputed topic, but emotional wherewithal, I'll say.
I didn't even know this shit was a debated topic.
Isn't that interesting? I feel like it's such common sense that people have a level of emotional intelligence, right? Like
it's a debate.
They're saying there's no scientific evidence of something called emotional intelligence.
It's gotta be.
Like, bro, just look at you can tell when someone has an innate awareness of their emotions and the emotions of others and what those things mean. Like that, maybe it's not linked to IQ or whatever, whatever kind of, you can't put a number on it.
At least the awareness of someone's emotional state.
And like Meek said, there's levels to this shit. There's levels to it.
In every aspect of life.
Yeah, so you can have this guy who has this level of emotional wherewithal, we'll use that term, and then you can have this guy who's like the most, like who has a way higher level of emotional wherewithal. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, I would definitely consider you to be a person who has that high level. But you know what, man? I think we have gone on long enough. We got a good hour out of this. This has been a riveting conversation.
Yeah, man, I'm hoping we can continue to talk. Fuck.
You want to just keep going?
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, well,
you cut it if you want to. Maybe you want to do your extra.
We'll clip this out. Clip this out.
Yeah.
And we'll just bullshit until it gets back on a real topic.
Don't forget to plug your projects and plugs.
That's at the very end. We're doing that at the very end, and you're gonna have as much time as you want to talk about the things, whatever you want to plug.
Feel free to hit me.
Well, see, we've already touched on all that, man.
Okay, shit.
Well, we could talk about capitalism, man. We could talk about the money aspect. To tie back into what we were saying earlier about fatherhood and art, how do you reconcile the need or the pressure to earn a dollar? How do you reconcile that with sort of, because I personally see the money system as to be inherently ungodly and evil, because it creates a system of winners and losers and puts people at the bottom and gatekeeps resources that God creates infinitely and freely. So to like how do you, as an enlightened man and an artist, how do you navigate American capitalism with a sense of ethics?
Bro, I think to come from the background, the type of people, the family, the environment that I come from, this shit is like the concept of capitalism as a concept, like being introduced to me, probably wouldn't be until firmly college.
When you really started getting an understanding for what the term meant and what the system really was, economics.
Yeah. It had to be around college, and I would consider. Is that normal?
Well,
I think that's late.
Well, for me personally, I was brought up studying history, and my parents were deep into that shit. I'm Filipino.
Okay.
So,
but we can confidently all sit here and say that public school absolutely failed us in that regard, correct?
Because I wouldn't imagine to get it from the school.
I got it from outside sources. I got it from elders.
Yeah, that's what I would.
There was financial math and like whatever.
But that was mostly how to balance a fucking checkbook.
Yeah, that shit.
You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody use a damn checkbook no more.
That didn't teach us about the nature of the system we're taking part in. You know,
I wouldn't. And so I wouldn't even imagine the system educate you on the system. I wouldn't imagine it.
It doesn't.
So I would figure it would have to come from like a.
And even history class lies about it. Mm-hmm. Even history class fucking lies about it.
I got suspended in high school for arguing historical facts with my history teacher. I got suspended for 4 days.
Man, I didn't get suspended for it, but I got in trouble.
Just no history.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Well, at least the parts that are recorded well.
For instance, about the system and history and how the public school system will sort of alter perceptions on what's going on. Sort of what a lot of people consider to be the axiomatic moment that determined the downfall of American economics and the downfall of sort of the dollar and the freedom of the American people to choose what happens with the dollar is the centralization of the banks. Mm-hmm. And the person who was completely against the centralization of the banks, Andrew Jackson, it's very interesting how perception of him is being shaped in the public sphere, because sure, he was a man of the 1800s, a white man in the 1800s. So that comes with a certain set of things that were guaranteed, you know? So there's that. I feel like even Abraham Lincoln probably had a bit of that. You think?
Man, you can't even talk about this without being problematic. But basically, if you lived anywhere and had any amount of land, yes. The answer is yes. It doesn't matter.
Basically, if you're any white person that wasn't fucking an Irish person.
If you had the amount of land, it is what it is. Unfortunately,
you can afford it.
It is what it is.
But anyway, we just got so off topic. What was it about?
We talking about capitalism.
Yeah, okay.
We on topic.
So yeah,
all of this shit ties into this.
And today, the perception of Andrew Jackson, it's very interesting that they chose him to be the one that they're focusing on. Like, do you remember when they brought up the Harriet Tubman $20 bills? Mm-hmm. For one, has anybody seen one? Did they ever do those? But they said they were doing them. But it's very interesting that they chose to put Harriet Tubman on the 20 I'm totally for putting Harriet Tubman on some currency.
No, I'm listening.
There's so many. Why not put her on the 100? Like Ben Franklin was a womanizer. They found bodies under his house. This dude had syphilis. But all these people were slave owners. All these people. So why choose to focus on him and his contributions to racism? I think it's entirely. And the fact that it's on money. what if it's like this giant middle finger to us? Like, because he was the last person to fight against the centralization of the banks. And then after his death, they centralized the banks. And since then, we have been on a slippery slope toward authoritarianism. What to you was sort of your journey to understanding what's going on, like the real picture of what's happening?
Man, I don't even know if I know what the fuck is really happening.
We don't, but like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
when
not to even be too deep in it.
Not like what is really happening, more what isn't happening. Because we now know as adults that this image of like an American dream, that or like America as we were told it was as kids, was always a lie.
It's been gone since the 90s.
Yeah. Probably post World War II.
I mean, our parents got to experience it pretty well. So,
But
Cold War, I guess we could probably rack it up around there.
We know what isn't happening.
True.
So, would you say that you grew up with a sense of patriotism? No. So that sort of nationality was never a part of your upbringing. How did your family view the government?
There's nothing that ever we...
Really? They didn't even think about the government. They didn't even factor it into their... That's very interesting.
Yeah. Very ignorant to that sphere.
But there's a level of power to being ignorant to its machinations, but then also a level of vulnerability that comes along with it. Because they do try to fuck you. Especially black people. What's up?
You learn a lot fast.
Yeah, you do.
You learn a lot fast. So...
And when... Yeah. So, I think it's pretty safe to assume that there was always like a pretty standoffish energy toward the police, right? Because the police are corrupt bullies.
I always had a distrust.
Yeah.
For policing.
Same. Since childhood, I've never trusted the cops.
Never understanding the duality of life very early. Not understanding universal law, not necessarily like
man's law.
Man law. You know what I'm saying? But understanding how things operate on the universal level, like really watching it and observing it, probably saved my life. That kind of intuition, that kind of discernment, can only come from the Most High. Like navigating, like how we talk about the art.
Yes.
Like, damn, sure, you really ain't got no training in this shit or like real studying this shit. Like, nah, you just be living. But same with life, I don't know. Like the way the Most High just allowed me to experience life and see shit, bro. It's like crazy, bro. It's like I swear to God, like just be opening my eyes and allowing me to see the shit in a different light from most people.
Were you heavily involved in the church as a child? What denomination?
Enough. Christian.
Baptist? Okay, yeah. My family was sort of Assembly of God, non-denominational. How did you perceive the church experience growing up, and how would you say it impacted you versus more religious people who are less church going?
For me, in the black church, like a family, so that bit was like family.
It's like a village.
People, you know, the people from the neighborhood type shit, and sometimes, you know, people from different neighborhoods, but y'all all come together. That's your church family. You know what I'm saying? The youth department is the youth department. And, you know, we kids growing up and doing some shit that we're probably being made to do in a sense. You know what I'm saying? We ain't like we getting up on Sunday morning and being like, you going to church this morning? Nah, it's like, you know, you going to church. So you going to church. You know what I'm saying? So my mama wasn't even going to church with me. My mama was sending me with my auntie. My auntie was coming to get me and taking me to church, so that's how I got my start into really just rolling with this shit. Well, nah, my mama took me when I was younger, but anywho, just
and
that shit.
Theoretically, that's how it should be. You know, the Bible says, "Forsake not the assembly." Nah. It used to be more. You had your choir who sang, and that was the show, and the pastor was usually really charismatic, and that was a show. But he would get off the stage, and you would know that man, and you were friends with that man. And like it was a group.
Personable.
Yeah, the choir the choir was your grandma and your mom, and like people.
Listen here, it needs to be like this now. We got this service. At your convenience, at your will.
Yep.
Come, do your thing, get it over with.
Yep.
Hey man, that's the world we live in now. That shit just ain't that slow no more. It's the same shit though. I swear to God it is, bro. Man.
I mean, as long as you're giving glory to the Most High, I guess ultimately. But it's the problem is a lot of these white churches these days, these super churches, they
it's
are
not even just the white churches.
Your TD Jakes, prime example.
Churches.
Yeah, these mega churches. These mega churches are fucking corrupt, dude.
Man, I think just the place where if you subscribe to that particular doctrine, that scripture, like that text, and that's what you're gonna abide by, live by. I respect it. I have no personal preference on things.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna subscribe to that, man, you got to be a student of that and a disciple of that. And that means that's a different type of dedication and level of studying and commitment to the thing.
It absolutely
I respect any text. I'm not gonna, I don't know who wrote the shit. And that's anything. You know what I'm saying? That's any sacred text. Any text that's considered sacred. I don't know none of the authors. You know what I'm saying? Me personally.
But what's interesting to me is that if you read these, if you start reading across these books, you notice that there's like commonalities.
Yeah.
But anyway, I apologize for...
No, you fine. Mind frame. The shrinking of the mind is what oftentimes certain religion will do. To close your mind. I'm scared of anything that'll close my mind. Like, I don't want anything that's gonna put a lid on my shit.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, the moral code that I abide by, I swear to God, like, that bitch is already within me. Like, I have a sense of being of, like, that's gonna violate my moral code. Or something. I done violated my moral code, and I know what that feel like. I know that it is truly a feeling of damnness. And it's such an emptiness and a hollowing out.
Do you think that moral code is innate? Like, we're born with that?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we observe people, and that's how we kind of, obviously our upbringing affects that. But when you're talking about moral code, when you do something that's like against your moral code, you have it's like a disappointment.
You can feel it. It's a grief.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a grieving.
And there are sort of there is a cross-cultural sense of morality, but there are cultures that have completely opposite moralities of us. Like Hawaiians, the idea of mana, like if you steal from another man, you gain mana. You don't diminish your consciousness, you grow it. If you kill a man, you gain mana. Yeah. It's not a sense. It's more a sense of like
that's a warrior culture.
Escalation.
We still have a lot of those around, but some of that's not as practiced as others.
However, speaking on that innate understanding of morality that you feel like springs up from within you, that's incredibly interesting to think about that, and I believe that the reason I wanted to touch on that actually was I think that you were dead on. And I think that you're dead on, and that embodied sense of moving through life, that faith, and that not having to stop and question it is the superior way of being. I came up with what I call the two computers problem, or the theorem, or whatever. It didn't matter. I just called the two computers. And there's one computer that just has its code, right? And it doesn't, it just operates the code. It does its program. It carries out everything you do. You push the button, does its thing. Then there's another program who has all the code built in, but it also has a secondary line of code that asks why it's doing those things.
Gotcha.
Which one's going to arrive to point B faster? If you have to stop and ask yourself, or reconcile, come up with some, or philosophize constantly about whether what you're doing is right, you're just going to get outworked by the guy who understands why what he's doing is right and doesn't have to question. He feels that faith. He sees that future. He literally manifests it. He brings it into being.
But even talking about the Hawaiian culture and just talking about warrior mentality, I think you still see that in display here.
Yeah.
It's just how you see it exhibited is a bit different. Even with talking about the military dominance, that whole mindset, you know what I'm saying? It's a very kind of warrior-like mentality still. Even the killings that you see could be, for me in my community and my neighborhood, that shit is the mentality of the killer is very much so. That is but we call it I think a bloodthirsty spirit, more so in the spiritual realm, to be bloodthirsty.
Hearing you say this now makes me so excited to introduce you to the hardcore world.
Yeah.
I think that you want to talk about a warrior spirit. I think that this is a transit. Like this is gonna be amazing to see, dude.
Yeah.
Like there is such a
It's a straight
complete
parallel.
universal camaraderie in hardcore. People of all backgrounds, all kinds of people that are loaded, have great jobs, and make all kind of money, all the way down to the fucking bottoms. People who don't even have a bite, who don't know where their next meal is coming from.
Yeah.
They're all treated like equals, dude.
Yeah.
And there's this like strength based mentality to it, because there's the pit, which is like this proving ground. You know, it's this place where you go out there and you're like, this is who I am. Or you're the band. It's like, this is who I am, you know?
Yeah.
Which is another level. And then it becomes this, like, not so much a hierarchical structure, but like a fucking family where it's like, this is your strength. This is why you're awesome. This is why you're awesome.
Yeah.
It's
fine.
beautiful, dude. It's beautiful. Like, touching on what I said earlier, is how much of a student of the game you are. Have you always had, like, a high passion for learning?
Yeah. Always.
Definitely being in the library too, just open to it at all.
Man, what's funny is my mom's, like, when the recession hit in 08, she lost her job doing like payroll for a trucking company that she had been in for probably, I know, over 10, 15 years probably. She lost her job and shit, and the next job she would get would be at the library. So she was like kind of like the gateway for me to get into the bridge for me to get into the shit. And when I started rhyming, she brought home some like literature on rhyming.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She was like, if you gonna do it, you need to read about it.
Wow.
And,
educate yourself.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, you need to educate yourself.
That's
so it was
supportive.
like that, and the business side and on the like science. It was a particular book that I still reference today. It's called The Art and Science of Hip Hop. The MC, of being an MC at Big Five. And it's like, it's got interviews with like so many pioneers. Yeah.
That's amazing that your
On
talents and your
categories.
interests were cultivated at an early age by your family. Like that's really, really fortunate. That's a blessing.
Story,
That's a blessing.
Bro, for sure, bro. It's like, the shit's so fire. Yeah, the story is so fire. It's like, I couldn't make it up, bro. It's so crazy. It's like meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Shit fire.
Shit can be a movie.
Purpose, man.
Real shit. I believe it.
Do you have like sort of any high ambitions that you don't have resources to accomplish now that you hope for art to sort of fund later down the road?
Man, it's hard thinking like that, boy.
Yeah.
I ain't lying.
I think
found
like that.
Yeah, I found that way of thinking to not be well for me.
Really?
So, yeah, I tend to not think like that. I tend to be a more solution-oriented person.
Moment to moment?
Nah, just it's I'm looking at it the same way. I'm just tricking my own self. You know what I'm saying? For ease of digestion and processing and formulating the plan to achieve the goal. Because if I want to do a thing, then that's a desire for me. I'm cool with going to get my desires. I fuck with it. I fuck with pursuit. So, say if a thing is what you deem to be out of reach, I just got to figure out how to put myself into position to reach it and grab it.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah, so for me, it's just like nothing is really out of reach.
Well, when I say out of reach, I mean at this moment as we sit here, to where you still have to put yourself in that position. And of course, there is the speaking of manifestation where you just say, I already have this thing, it's already mine.
I'm telling you, I don't even think like that no more.
See, you know what? And you're right. And
I'm telling
you know what,
like
man? I'm catching myself in it now.
I swear, I just try not to be in between no more with shit.
Try to
like if I'm gonna be on some shit, fuck it. I'm gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be all the way in this shit. I'm gonna immerse myself in the world because it's like I'm just not thinking like that, bro. Like it's shit that I want to do.
I mean, you're constantly representing yourself, so do it through yourself.
It's shit I want to do. I'm not doing it right now just because it's just not time for me to do it right now.
Of course.
That's me thinking on it. And I used to, for real, be like, when I get to this point, I had to stop thinking. That shit was depressing me and making me not want to do this shit sometimes.
That's valid.
I don't fuck with that thinking, bro. I don't fuck with that shit. I don't tell you that.
That's valid.
I haven't always been that way, but I've definitely, probably in the past 3 to 5 years, that's where I finally
Yeah, fuck that shit, man. That shit hard on your mind.
Well, if you ever, the thing is very few people understand what it means to chase greatness and the amount of commitment it really takes.
Yeah.
Because you have to dedicate your entire life and being to it.
Yes, you do.
If you're not prepared to do that, you have to accept that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to accept
I had to go through a place of I had accepted that. It was like from the fold in my shit. And it was like, nah, that ain't for you.
Yeah.
But
that
that
was
being
humble.
said, doesn't mean it can't ever happen. It's
Hell
just
no.
everything, you know. But
It made me appreciate it more.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I was like, I ain't gonna play with it. After that, after going through that place with it, it was like when I went and inserted myself in community.
that was really That is exactly
That what it make you do.
That's exactly what it did too, man. It's
That's
like,
what it'll make you
It was
do.
like when you come to that realization, when you hit that fort, it's like I have to either fully or not. When you say no and you still want to be involved, you become a teacher.
Man,
you become a teacher, man. You have
Man.
to help everyone else.
None
And
of this shit.
you talk about it in wrestling all the time. We have to pull the strings up, not cut them down.
Yes, the point is to pass knowledge on and pass the world on and not be stingy about it.
Exactly.
Because we are transient beings. We're not here forever.
We have to now.
That's it.
We're losing ourselves because it's not happening at that level.
Yeah, like for instance, I'd like to talk about Masahiro Sakurai, creator of Super Smash Brothers. Have you ever played Smash Bros? Do you like the games?
Yeah.
Whatever.
I ain't played them in a long time.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the creator, but he is sort of responsible for what we consider to be modern crossover culture in a way. His inclusion of Solid Snake in Super Smash Bros. Brawl changed the world. It changed what it meant to be able to bring a character into something else. And ever since that day, it has expounded and has turned into what I call the Smash Brothers effect, where he has found a way to take characters from all over media and bring them into his game and represent them in a way that is both faithful and beautiful and that works incredibly well. And this man here, now that he has completed Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, is revealing he never trained a protege.
Damn.
Over the last
20 years.
20 something
2001.
years.
No, it was 2001?
Yes.
2001.
This whole time, he never slowed down enough to take on a protege. He never trained anyone. And so now we're here in a position where Super Smash Brothers as a series is highly at risk because there's no one in the entire world who can do it at his level. We see people try, we see people fail. And I believe this to be a problem that is grander than just him. I think
Friendships in general. And everything, really.
especially a generational issue from generation from the boomers to Gen X to now. Post World War II, we've seen a decreasing amount of willing and ready mentorship. Yeah. Like as resources have gotten better, as say the internet has advanced, we've seen people less ready to give out information and to stop and be like, "Come here, son. Let me teach you how to do this thing." You know, and so there's such a beauty in people who are willing to stop when someone is ready to learn and is teachable, and to show them the path to embody this thing that they're showing interest in, or that you see potential for them in, that they are open to trying, you know?
That shit like my relationship with Matt.
Really?
Like to a T. That shit fire.
Like at him as your mentor, or you as his mentor?
Kind of giving them the game.
A give and take.
Yeah, for definitely give and take. I learned a lot from his
Yeah. He probably learns a lot from you as well.
Yeah. I feel like just showing them how to navigate the landscape.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Making the dream feasible.
Yeah.
Something you can obtain. Like, you could really do this shit, bro. You just gotta do it, you know.
That's beautiful.
Put a, you know.
And that's exactly. It's that kind of selfless, like, willingness to pass on information that makes Manifest so awesome. Because, like, it sucks, like, we can't have people, like, under 21 because there's alcohol present and things like that. But I like that aspect. Well, Anthony is saying he wants to start a Manifest Youth.
I mean, that makes sense.
It does. And I would really like to spearhead this if he doesn't have time. Yeah, and if I can find someone to sort of like partner up with on this, I would really like to see this Manifest Youth become a thing.
I would love to be involved in something like that because I don't know shit about music, but as far as telling people how to, there's levels to music, and I can teach anybody how to be a successful musician, make a living at this easily.
That's what we need.
It's more about...
It's easy to make a living as a musician. People don't realize that. Now, how big you want to be, that's a different topic.
Yeah.
You know, that's a completely different topic. But if you're trying to pay your bills, it's easy to do, especially around here. So.
The point of Manifest Youth isn't going to be to generate money-making musicians.
No, it's not. But
the point of Manifest Youth...
That's the problem. Everybody wants to talk about the kids. Nobody wants to talk about the money. The kids want money too, Tyler.
Well, they can learn about money elsewhere. The point of Manifest is to be a community that is about the music and is about finding your authentic self and is about, things like that. And sure, we can teach them, like, if you want to teach them how to make money.
I don't want nothing to do with you kids if money's not involved. I'm ready with the big dogs.
you gotta pay me to watch these kids, man.
I'm ready with the big dogs.
It's not so much that, but you have to find out what someone wants, and if somebody is trying to take music seriously, you have to reassure them that there is money in this. It is feasible to make money at this.
And that's
so
true.
When you're chasing your dreams, it's easy. People don't realize that music is a very easily attainable dream for the self-gratifying level. Now, for the grandeur level, it's different. That is different. And
what I'm thinking about is literally a 1-to-1 replica of what happens at Manifest for youth, where they're able to come together and then they can make their own networking, their own like connections with each other, and just give them a space to have that open creativity and.
I think this shit fine. I'm just talking shit.
Learn from each other,
No, I think that's super important too, because imagine if.
The old guard can teach too. So.
Even though I was in the music scene whenever I was younger, having that connection of musicians where you could actually have creative ideas and then have other like-minded musicians of hey, who wants to try to do this? That would have been game-changing for.
Yes.
In general, I think every place should have something like that, a music coalition, whatever you want to call it. It's almost
I'm inclined to agree.
It's almost like a music union. That's what just hey man.
Yeah.
I too am inclined to agree.
Rent a musician, basically. Let's get this shit popping. Kids need direction, man. That's the biggest thing. So, they need the space to create. That's a free space to create, for them.
And that's one thing that really made me gain a lot of respect for you was that day that we were doing the outdoor show, and you were up there with the mic, and you had your child in your arm while you were doing. I actually have a video of that.
That's cool.
And you were performing with. I've never shown you this video. Well, I'll definitely have to show you after we record this. But it was just it was so awesome to see you having your child there as part of the experience and showing them. Showing them the life you're in and not just keeping it away from them.
Yeah, they love this shit. They love music. This shit's so funny.
You're their superhero, man. I guarantee you.
They my superhero. That shit funny like that, man. It's cool though. It's a blessing.
It really
is, bro.
It is a blessing.
That shit is fire as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. It's one of the plus sides.
Yeah, thou shalt not covet, but major covet.
That's one of the plus sides, bro. Hell yeah, I fuck with that dog. I fuck with that concept. I didn't know about that, but that is good, man. The Manifest Youth thing.
Yeah.
That's a dope concept, man.
We just need more youth core bands in the area.
Yes, we need to see the youth doing things.
I'm pretty sure they doing this shit too. It just probably ain't been
It's not it's not done
organized way,
Well, also being Shreveport Bossier, what it is these kids don't really have places where they can perform.
Mm-hmm.
When they start getting things together, and that's also another topic completely on its own thing.
Yeah.
The all ages venues when we were coming up were available.
Yeah.
Yes, they were, and
I
they were a
don't
blast.
know how booking agents and stuff operate nowadays either. So,
however, I don't know if the people listening to this podcast are ready to really hear and really talk about what went down at some of these all ages venues and how actually unsafe they were and how young people were exploited and were done pretty fucking dirty actually by some pretty predatory individuals. I don't know if we're ready to have that conversation quite the fuck yet. But anyways.
Sounded like we were. Shit.
Well, I don't want to just drop names.
there's a lot of people that.
But yeah, let's just say I've seen text messages to friends of mine who were 15 years old at the time, males from senior members of the Shreveport music scene who were well into their 40s at the time, asking this 15-year-old male child to tie them down to the ground and kick them in the testicles with cowboy boots. Goodbye monetization. So yeah, this actually happened. I saw it with my own eyes. So yeah, it was nice to have these all ages venues, but I would like to just sit and say unequivocally on the record right now that the current Shreveport music scene is the best it has been in my entire time being alive. It is far less problematic, far less fucking toxic, far less exploitative. There's far less of that shit going on, far less cliquey. There is this I don't know the proper way to say that. Coalescence? Yeah, there's this coalescence happening where, like, it just seems better, dude. It's better. There's way less horrible shit going on than when we were coming up, man.
Same old bullshit, but niggas ain't got time for that shit. I think the mindset is just kind of like, alright, so look, we know to get to where we desire to be, it's gonna take a major push.
Yeah.
So I think everybody kind of got that understanding. Of course, everybody's not working together in the sense of like we all getting along. I mean, that's just not realistic.
No, but there's way more. There's way more like respect.
Live, let live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Still, it's like fuck you, but it's cool.
People,
you know what I'm saying? It ain't we gotta die about it. It's like, alright, man, I ain't fucking with that, how you moving, how you operating, but still, you know what I'm saying? Shit, you still, the circle's so, everybody, the shit is the most overlap I think it's ever been.
I agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
And so now, this shit just continuing to expand. Mm-hmm. It's just continuing to expand.
New people.
And mixing and mixing and mixing. And so, I think that's a lot of what we seeing, man. But that shit is...
It's amazing to see.
The big issue, you know, I'm going to bring back to the all ages thing real quick. The big issue is that if you had an all ages venue, I don't think that alcohol should be served on the premise.
Not at all. That's the whole point.
That was always the issues of being in our area specifically. Is almost anywhere that's willing to host an all ages venue, they also want to serve alcohol. And you know, back revisiting, I feel like that is. Having that emotion in your voice or in your playing, whatever you want to call it, is what's missing in a lot of music.
Yeah, I think it compensates for a lot. It compensates for a lot.
You can be a low tier musician, musically inclined, whatever, like really not even genuinely good.
But if you have emotion and if you make people feel something.
I mean, Black Sabbath's first album, dude.
Boom.
That shit was not even in tune, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it was fine.
Hell yeah, it was. Primus, bro. Like, Primus sucks. I fucking love Primus, dude.
Dude, that's like they're just off the wall crazy. That's fine.
That's how I know you're not a true Primus fan.
Dude, they're not.
You're supposed to say Primus sucks.
I mean, I get it.
That's what it is.
Wait, but Primus sucks. I mean, is what I meant to say.
I mean, I listen to Primus, but I'm not like
They're
I'm not
legitimately.
going out of my way, even though I've seen them live here like at least 3 times.
I know I ain't doing this.
I would argue Les Claypool was my biggest musical influence, probably.
Les Claypool, your biggest musical.
Les Claypool is my biggest musical influence. He is the bassist for a band called Primus, and he is fucking awesome.
Not better than me.
Well, pick up a bass.
I play bass.
Would you say it's something you could see yourself diving way deeper into?
In the back end, I'm gonna play bass in the jazz band for sure.
Oh yeah,
bro, I'm gonna be in the rhythm section going crazy.
Okay.
I'm gonna be the drummer. Follow me.
Yeah.
You feel me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I see it already for myself.
So even if you've become a multi-billionaire, that's going to be one of your side quests, like the shit you'll see Shaq and John Cena and people do.
Zoops on side quest.
What the fuck is a billionaire, man? That ain't got shit to do with it. Yeah, I'm gonna still do it because I want to do it. Because I love music, bro.
Multi-billionaire Rachard Dennis playing bass at this small jazz club in Dallas, Texas.
Tough,
the Balcony Bar. Shout out Balcony Bar.
We gonna be tough.
Hell yeah.
We gonna be tough, bro. I swear to God.
Have you ever been to the Balcony Bar?
Fuck no.
We need
It's a
to
real
go.
place?
Dude, yes, it's this jazz club in Dallas, and it is fucking fire.
Yeah, too much weed in them,
Me and Max Miranda, we used to go there all the time. Or I think we went a total of 3 times, and all 3 of those times were fucking super cool.
Who'd you
Super
see?
cool. It's always the same band. They
got a house band like
yes,
that?
they have a house band, and they are extremely good.
Damn, I see. When the last time you say you went?
Man, it's been a long time.
That's
we need to go. We need to go. And we can stop at Chris and John. Shout out Chris and John.
Who's that?
It's a Vietnamese, like Asian fusion street food place. It's close to the Galleria, and it is the best food I have ever had in my life.
Damn.
Shout out Chris and John.
You talking about high praises.
Yes, okay, the one downside is if you show up there roughly around midday to a little bit later on, you are going to be in a line that goes out the door and past the door to the gas station that is next door to it. It's a pretty serious line.
That's how it needs to be to get in the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, and it's that good.
Yeah, it needs to be like...
Yeah, if you see this shit, you know it's fire.
Come on, now.
Anybody listening,
Against this shit.
if you're listening right now, Chris, or and anyone listening right now, hit up Chris and John if you're in Dallas and near the Galleria. But
Free blood.
Absolute free advertisement. You ever been to Houston?
Never been to Houston.
Man, Houston's my favorite place I've ever been.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Not me.
Well,
it's my least favorite place in
this
Texas,
story will be.
I think.
I didn't think this would be the cast that this story came out on, but so when I first moved to Houston, I lived there for roughly a month, maybe a little less. I stayed in this place called One Park Place. It's right across from the Discovery Greens in the center of downtown. It is the most bougie ass apartment complex I have ever seen in my motherfucking life. They had this big ass $100,000 grand piano in the fucking lobby that I would play, and people would walk up and just listen. It was fucking so awesome. And then I would walk out on the balcony and play guitar, and people there's this group, and if anyone that was in 2021 in the Discovery Greens, and you remember seeing a guy high up on the balcony playing fucking Giveon, Heartbreak Anniversary, and y'all were vibing hard as fuck to it, that was me.
No, it was me.
It was so dope. There was this group of TikTok dancers. There was 20 of them. And they all stopped doing their big old organized TikTok dance and came and sat and watched me play. Shout out whoever you guys were. But yeah, and dude, downtown Houston, there is no trash. I didn't see a single piece of trash.
That's impressive.
Yes, it is. And everything around that place, food wise, is next level good. There was this gourmet macaroni and cheese place, had all kind of fire shit they would put in it. Bro,
Dumb.
That month of my life getting to walk around downtown Houston and live there was some of the best times. And there was this place called the Phoenicia Market right under the apartment complex, and they had this real deal Greek gyros you could get, dude, and the market had so much amazing world type food in it from all over the planet.
That's always fire.
Yes, I would. The gyros, I'll never forget them. I need to go back and get one day. Yeah, Houston. You ever been to Austin?
Nope.
Never been to Austin.
Never been to Austin, bro.
Austin's pretty fire. Very weird. Very, very weird.
What's weird?
Well, you know that like literally, it's a phrase. Keep Austin weird. It's just a very artsy and creative and open-minded community.
Yeah.
So that they take pride in their weirdness, you know. All right, well, it's been fucking awesome having you today, Rachard. Before we end the cast, would you like to talk about anything you have coming up? Plug any projects?
Well, first of all, brother, it's been a pleasure conversing with you. I knew it was going to be a great conversation, really. I'm thankful to be on the platform. Proud of you.
Thanks,
Keep
man.
up the good work.
You too, man.
This is a need, so you're really fulfilling the need, so I know it's going to go far and it's going to do everything that it needs to do.
That means a lot.
You know, for real, for real. As far as the plug, though, be just looking for some music between me and Ouroboros. Yeah, stuff dropping. The Manifest Jams dropping monthly.
Man,
you know?
those are so fire. You guys got to check those out.
Max Ones has a show at Bears in March.
Okay.
Yeah.
The First Age of Insomniacs show.
The First Age of Insomniacs.
That's going to be
in
some
March.
next level shit, you guys. For real.
So, yeah. Things of that nature, man. Y'all know it's Newport, whole lot of new shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We got a lot of things working behind the scenes, so it's a lot to come.
You have any shout outs you want to do or anything before we go off?
Shout out to y'all for listening, man. And come support the local arts, man. Come support your art scene. Be a patron of the arts. Come out and see what's going on, man.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter who you are, what walk of life you come from. If you love the arts, if you love music, if you love creativity, or you just love good vibes. Like, there is no hotter, better, more talented place in the city to be on Tuesday night than fucking Manifest, dude. Shout out Anthony.
Shout out.
So, yeah, well, I guess we'll go ahead and close out for the day. It has been an absolute honor, and I hope to have you back on very soon, my man.
We gotta do it again, bro.
Peace out, you guys.
Peace.